with that, I guess we got about maybe 30 minutes, or I'm gonna, cut myself off in about 30 minutes. So in that remaining 30 minutes, let me do what I've been doing this whole semester. And I will say, I feel much more positive about recommending ChatGPT as a tutor, since I guess last semester too, actually, last and this semester. The reasoning models, ChatGPT o1 and now o3, they are quite accurate. I don't think I've seen them hallucinate once when we are asking them physics questions. Now, I don't mean that to say the like a generative AI will never hallucinate. They are always biased towards giving you an answer, even when the answer doesn't exist. It's really biased against the saying, I don't know. So now, in the context of this class, one thing that benefits your experience using ChatGPT as tutor is that every question we ask you in this class has an answer. We don't ask you an unanswerable question. So every question we ask you has a model answer. Really, the kind of assistance you might need is, I guess, one, getting the model answer, although you have my homework helper videos. And two, having that model answer explained to you. Maybe there are gaps in the answer that's preventing your understanding, and interactive model like a ChatGPT can really help you with that. And in the context of this lower division class where we don't have any unanswerable questions, ChatGPT probably won't hallucinate. It hasn't hallucinated once this semester, and I think it can really be a powerful learning tool if people use it correctly, not use it to cut corners. And I gotta tell you, some of you, again, probably no one watching this video, I know you are using ChatGPT, and I will tell you the number one thing that tells me that you are using ChatGPT. In a question where it's most natural to draw a diagram, you don't draw a diagram. You give me a wordy explanation. The one thing I know ChatGPT still cannot do is draw a technically correct diagram. So whenever you kind of avoid drawing a diagram in a context where it should be so easy to draw a diagram, I kind of suspect correctly that you are using generative AI. And a lot of your professors, university professors, they are smart people. They will figure out, as I did, what student work looks like AI generated. So if you AI is a new thing, so a lot of instructors are kind of finding their way around it. And if you are somehow relying on your instructors not knowing what AI looks like, that's not a long-term winning bet. So with that warning, let me use ChatGPT in an academically honest, in a way that really reinforces my learning. So I'm role playing a student working through this course material in good faith, and in terms of grades, like you can ignore problems at 12. I mean, I will grade your problems at 12 assessment, but like if as I grade it, if I notice that you didn't do it, it's not changing your letter grade. So even though I don't call it optional, because I've learned when I call something optional, people don't do it. But it's basically optional. So now, for those of you who are going on to become engineers, like mechanical and maybe probably even civil engineers, like fluid dynamics is, I think, important in like considering long-term stability of structures and whatnot. This is something you have to know. And even though you will learn so much more in your upper division classes, those upper division classes assume that you have been exposed to the topic in your lower division classes. So if you skip it entirely, it's going to make your upper division so much harder. So, don't skip it, do it. Now, as you are, as you're working through problems at 12, and if you are using ChatGPT as a tutor, as I recommend you to, why are there three? Oh, two questions. Okay. uh, maybe there should be more reading questions. So, um, now, if you are simply copying and pasting the question into ChatGPT, I've demonstrated this many times. It'll simply tell you the answer because that's its bias. So you have to give ChatGPT this instruction in order to use it effectively as a tutor. So I went to type this in first. I'm working through my. Let me just get this answer here. It's an easy question. That's why I burned it this way. Um, I'm working through my PHYS homework problems set in my calculus-based general physics class. And here now, this is not technically correct. So if we do require the one-on-one meeting, I won't ask you any fluid questions. It's technically not correct, but let me just lie to ChatGPT to get better quality responses from ChatGPT. And I really needed to learn the material in preparation for the semester and the one-on-one meeting with Dr. Would you please not give me answers right away? Will give you the questions and try to no comma and try to explain what I have tried and where I think I stopped. Please help me just with the step by step. Hopefully it's not too long. They tell people not to use boomer prompts, that you don't have to be so worried with the ChatGPT, with the reasoning models especially. Apparently they do the boomer prompting themselves within the model. So let me find a few substantive questions and let's work through those substantive questions. Now, I don't know how many substantive questions there are. Um, Here, I think the question giving you gauge pressure actually helps you because let me see if I can do this mostly in my head. I mean, I'll type in the answers into calculator, and so I have a force of 67 times 9.8. That's the weight, and that divided by area should be this. So area is force divided by the pressure. Yeah, divide by 2 2e5, and I think I have to multiply that by 10,000 to get, so 32.8. Again, it's an easy question that do it in your head. But let's say I made a mistake. Again, the question gives you the pressure and gauge pressure actually to help you. If you kind of didn't know what gauge pressure is and just did the calculation that I was doing, then yeah, you'll have gotten the correct answer. But let's imagine someone who's overthinking the problem. Maybe. So, someone who's, again, working through the course in good faith, but you just twisted yourself into not just thinking through issues that actually wasn't an issue at all. So you remember your definition of pressure. You say pressure is a force divided by area. And so you think, okay, all right, area is equal to force divided by pressure. And that is the calculation I've done. And you can actually do the calculation without too much more thinking, and then you get the correct answer as I've done. But let's say you look at the gauge pressure and the word gauge makes you worry for no reason. And you start thinking, oh, pressure. So I have to remember the atmospheric pressure. So I say pressure is 1 atmosphere plus the 1 atmosphere plus the gauge pressure. So you say, all right. So I remember 1 atmosphere. I have it memorized. 101.3 kilopascals, or times 10 to the 3 Pascal. And the gauge pressure is 2 times 10 to the 5, so that would be 200, plus 200 times 10 to the 3 Pascal. So you say pressure is 301.3 times 10 to the 3 Pascal. All right, and now you think you have all the numbers you need to plug in. F is 67 times 9.8 newtons. So you plug all those in, and you get the wrong answer. 6 times 9.8 divided by 301.3 times 10 to the power of 3 pascals, and then multiply that again with the 10,000 to do the unit conversion. So you end up with 21.79. You plug it in, the thing says your answer is wrong. And once I have that wrong answer mark, then I will now ask ChatGPT for help. 21.7, 21. Yeah, that's why I double checked. I say it out loud to help me remember, but sometimes, doesn't help enough. Okay, submit. So it says it's wrong. I went through this exercise just so that I can get that wrong answer mark. So let me ask ChatGPT. All right. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong in this question. I even um, accounted for the page pressure. Uh, um, and let's say the previous attempt, I had a typo that I made the wrong answer, and that's what put me on this really dead end path. Because the answer I calculated before with taking page into account was also graded as wrong. But it says it's wrong, and I'm not sure what more I can try. Let's see if ChatGPT will parse my work correctly. Sometimes when the writing is too busy, it won't, parse it all out. We'll see. And while it's thinking, let me see if I can change my phone setting. I don't know. I'll do that later. But actually, is the pressure difference, yeah, between the air and the tire. Level pressure on the outside of open atmosphere, and is also the same. Yeah, so that's the correct description. He did okay. Oh, all right. It corrected me. Try redoing. Okay. So let's give this a try. So let's imagine that we did it. So this was. Oh wait, this is a new calculator. I don't have a history thing. So let's imagine that we did it. 6.7 times 9.8 divided by 2 e to the 5 times 10,000. And let's say I'm a little dyslexic and I enter 38.23 instead of 32.83. So 38.23. So this is actually the one of the helpful use of generative AI. You are making really a silly mistake that doesn't mean you are doing anything seriously wrong. But the dumb system is still grading you as incorrect. And generative AI can help as a check. It might be able to tell you, oh, the correct answer is 32.83. Double check your calculator. That's the kind of help that I could give. Sometimes I see, as I grade the problem set assessment, I see what's basically a calculator error. You've done everything right, but the calculator error is giving you that error. Let me actually just cross this out so that doesn't confuse ChatGPT. So, but I'll leave the 38.23 in so that ChatGPT has a chance to correct me to say, oh, you must have made a calculator. Okay, that's the first thing I tried. I just tried it again. I got 38.23 centimeters squared, and it still says it's wrong. and then it'll probably work out the answer itself and to correct this numerical value. Uh, yes, why isn't it just coming to a conclusion that I'm dyslexic? Because I just swapped the little transpositional error, you know. It's common errors, you know. I think even if you're not dyslexic, if you're not too careful, you might make the mistake easily. Or like you could be doing something where you're looking at a calculator and you thought you could remember the number for a couple of seconds, and oh, uh, so okay, could you recheck the number in your actually? Oh, so I think it's not quite figuring out that it's just the transposed. But you could, go through that and calculator's memory 1.72. Why would anyone be uh, and you can round or copy it from a hint. Yeah, the hint could sometimes give you a different number. Um, so here, I don't think it's helping you all that much. It should give you in the low 30s per centimeter square. Run through tell me exactly what you say after each one. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. What value do you get? So I'll say for one, I get that is actually what I would recommend. That is what I do like during lab, and I'm trying to uh, check people's calculator mistakes. I go through the calculation myself. So for one, I get 656.6. So I think for two, I get now something starting with a three. No, I think that's because if I give you the two, then that'll actually be the correct thing. For two, so let me do it this way: that divided by two, 2 exponential 5. I get uh, I get 0.03283. Is that right so far? And by this point, I think people would have figured it out. Or after getting this response, let me try switching this to 3823 and see what ChatGPT says. Let's say that mistake I'm making is so persistent. Yeah, on the hard part, numbers look perfect so far. Yeah, good. Um, Union conversion. Yeah, that will it ever? Okay. So let me just edit this and say make the same transpositional error here for whatever reason. And ChatGPT will hopefully tell me, oh, that doesn't look right. You got 2 digits reversed. Or it might not have the capability to tell me that. Remember, there's a whole meme about counting number of R's in strawberry. The way I'm told, the way the kind of tokens are broken out, it can count character by character. That's what I was told. It's possible that it can. Yeah, it's just saying higher, lower. It can't tell the digits being reversed, I think. That's interesting. Yeah, wait, first looks perfect. You should see. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a weird difference. So a human being looking at this number difference will have figured out, oh, you got the digits reversed. But here, ChatGPT is actually trying to work with like, what? That's nonsense. But anyways, all right. Um, yeah, I had a two and it reversed. I got it. Thank you. Um, so let me find one or two more substantive questions. Now, this question set doesn't have that many substantive questions. Let me see if there's a. So I think this is the simple machine one. It could be fun. Let's see. Maybe this is good. I might do question 7. Let me look ahead to 8, 9, 10, and then maybe do question 7. 8. Oh, so this is continuity. I forget if I ask you Bernoulli's principle questions because I used to not. Um, I do ask you Bernoulli's principle question. All right, so let's do actually. Let me do 9. And then 10, because I think those are the two substantive questions. The other ones, I mean, this is also substantive, but like you can do something like, let's say you didn't recognize this as a continuity equation question. So, but you could ask, what law of physics should I use to answer this question? Um, for this question, I'm having a little trouble getting started. Can you tell me what law of physics I should be using to answer this question? And it'll say either continuity principle or conservation of volume or something along that line. It might even tell you the equation. Area times velocity is equal to um, or I guess here it's a fluid speed divided by area. Yeah. So, um, so let me ask 9, and the way I'm gonna phrase my question is: this should look like one of those word questions in your math classes, which I loved as a student, but I understand that not many. That's a minority opinion. So let me role play someone who holds the majority opinion of not loving the word questions and just you read the question, your eyes glaze over, and now you are trying to avoid that continuing to happen. So okay, this question looks like one of those word questions in my math class, and my eyes just glaze over reading the question. Help. You could do almost like dimensional analysis. I think if you just make the units come out right, it'll give you the correct answer. I think. Um, I guess you should calculate the volume. You're given the dimensions for the volume. Yeah, this is I guess one of the techniques. So one of the things I think a paragraph form does make it harder, but if you break it out into bullet points, that can be a technique to kind of spot each piece of information in a way you are not glossing over or eyes glazing over. Yeah, and then if you didn't know the formula for volume, great, now you have it. In your turn, multiply these numbers. Okay. Ah, and I guess this is, do you call it accountability partner? Maybe, you're looking at the whole thing and you just, want to throw your hand up, but breaking it into small steps. I mean, that is what we teach in standard strategy. And one of the kind of point of the systematic problem solving approach is that, yeah, the whole thing is too big. If you're just looking at the whole thing, yeah, it's half the students will just give up like that. That that's what experience teaches me. But once you break it into smaller pieces, the information that's given here, the dimensions of the box, and the next thing you have to do is just calculate the volume. And whatever comes after that, don't worry about it for now. Let's just get the volume first. Now, can I do this in my head? I might be able to. This is my toxic trait that I look at these numbers. I think I can just do it all in my head. So 15 times 21, the easiest way to do it is you imagine doing 15 times 20. That's easy, 300. And just add the 15, for that one. So it's a 315. And then instead of multiplying by 2.5, I can divide it by 4 and then multiply by 10. So 315 divided by 4, I can do that. That's 315 divided by 4 is 7, so 28, 35, 8 point, I think, and then multiply by 10. I get, is that correct? Let me just double check. 315. That should be within the range. Could have made a mistake because I was just doing it in my head. Get ChatGPT must have gotten really better at doing arithmetic compared to 2 years ago. It used to make arithmetic mistakes all the time. And then, yeah, it's now guiding you step by step. Now, after you've gone through a question like this, I would recommend that you come back to it later. Like, take a break a day, come back to the question, see if you can do it again without ChatGPT's help. That'll teach you if you actually learned it by going through these steps. So, next tiny step, convert 15 minutes to every 2 seconds. You don't need everything in SI units, and then find the flow rate. So 15 minutes is, let's make a mistake here, 600 seconds, and I get the flow rate of um, um, flow rate of can I do division by? I think I can do division by 600. So division by 100, so 7.88, and then division by 6. Again, that's wrong number. 1.31 cubic meter per second. Good. And hopefully they'll correct me because it's 900 seconds, not 600. Yeah. It's, yeah, 900 seconds. Oops. Yeah, and then, oh, I'm not done. Yeah, that's the flow rate. Oh yeah, it's meters per second now. Okay, next to move. Yeah, cross-sectional area, point in diameter. Yeah, it is a lot of steps. Okay, that's one of the reasons my eye was glazing over. So many steps. But this is a kind of thing that ability to break down multi-step question into those multi-steps and working through one step at a time. It's a skill that you should develop for yourself. And as you do that, if a tutor like a ChatGPT helps you, then great, use it. It's like you're training wheel. Diameter, radius, okay. It might be figuring out that I'm a little slow and giving me more help than usual. Um, so so I have the flow rate. So let's make a mistake with the area. Let's say I didn't read this part, and I just did pi times zero point 0.3 squared. So I have a is equal to pi is 3.14, 0.3 squared is 0.09. I don't think I can do that. I get tired of doing that in my head. 0.2826 again, which is wrong. 0.2826 centimeter squared. It's meter squared, but let me just and ChatGPT will correct me. The thing I wonder is if it'll just give me the correct answer, looking at the multiple mistakes I'm making. Yeah. Hmm. Ramble in units, yeah. Yeah, meter to centimeter, yeah, that's one. Yeah, radius, not diameter. Yeah, stick to meters until the very end. Don't shift to different units. And pi, r, yeah, yeah. Multiply pi. Uh, oh yeah, don't convert, yeah. And I don't ever have to convert to centimeters. Like that's sometimes people do extra stuff that you're not supposed to. Uh, uh, so I say, oops, I get equals, let me correct that. Oops, too many calculators. So it's 3.14 times 0.15 squared, 0.07065. 0.07065 meters. Yeah, good. And then hopefully it'll tell me the next step again. Yeah, yeah, good. And then we had the flow rate from above that ChatGPT calculated, and the unit will cancel out to give you a meter per second, and then yeah, careful with it. It's a scene that I've made lots of tiny mistakes. Um, I guess it could feel a little bit patronizing, but don't make those mistakes. 0.875 divided by 0.0. Okay, 12.38. 12.38. Good, thank you. So, I'll thank ChatGPT. Good, thank you so much. Good, thank you so much. Um, low teens. Yeah. Yeah, so because of the prompt I gave it, it's kind of refraining from giving me the answer right away, so that I'll do it myself. Um, all right, let's do the next question and then we'll wrap up. Here, I'll go a little bit faster, not be so slow. So here, let's say I know, I've studied, I know the material, I know Bernoulli's principle, and, all that's good. And let's say I get stuck by the fact that not knowing what the speed of the fluid here is. Because I feel like, oh, that's something I should know, and I don't know, maybe. So let me write down Bernoulli's principle. Oops, I don't like that color. Or Bernoulli's equation. I only learned recently there are like 6 different Bernoullis that are mathematicians and scientists, or like family, brother, father. I don't know which Bernoulli this Bernoulli's equation is named after. So that equation says the pressure difference, or I guess this expression that I'm writing down is constant. Pressure at one point plus 1/2 rho v1 squared. Then we'll deal with the constant density, so rho is just gonna be constant plus rho g h1 is equal to p2 plus 1/2 rho v2 squared plus rho g h2. And I'm treating this as like an equation to which I'm plugging in uh, the known and unknown values, and I have I think I can say P1 is equal to 1 atmosphere, and that is the same pressure for P2 because they are both. Oh wait, P1 is not equal to 1 atmosphere. Because I have that extra mass. So P1 is equal to 1 atmosphere plus the pressure due to the mass of weight of that thing. So 20 kilogram times 9.8 meter per second squared divided by the area. I think the question gave me the area. Yeah, 0.25 meters squared. P2 is now just an atmosphere. So for the pressure difference, atmospheres cancel out, and you only have to worry about the gauge pressure, like the number. Density rho, we'll write it down to indicate that I know 1,000 kilogram per cubic meter. And so let's see. G I know 9.8 meter per second squared. H1, I think one I've been using is this point here. So H1 is 0.5 meter, and this is the point 2. So H2 is equal to 0.15 meter. And so I have two unknowns, which is going to be stumping me. V1 unknown, V2 unknown. So let me ask ChatGPT. Now there are two different solutions to this dilemma. The one that I'm actually interested in seeing what ChatGPT will recommend. So I'll ask ChatGPT. I think I'm supposed to use Bernoulli's equation for this question, but I have too many unknowns. I wrote down all the numbers I know, but I still don't know the two velocities, V1 and V2. Oh, so the usual recommended solution here is kind of recognizing that this spot size is so much smaller than that. You can say approximate. You can approximate V1 as approximately 0, because this surface will be moving so much slower than the fluid here. So with the V1 equal to 0, you have everything you need to solve for V2. Now, let's say you don't like it because approximately scares you. then you just continue the equation. That's your second equation. Two equations, two unknowns. You should also, so ChatGPT gives you the harder one. You can definitely do it that way. So, no, does it ever? Yeah, it does say V1 will be hundreds of times smaller than V2. Yeah, that will matter. And will that matter? Mm-hmm. Set up Bernoulli between the. Yeah, I've already done that. Did it not see the? Oh, why is it repeating the thing that I've already done? Simplify before solving. Subtracted the. Okay, I had to look at the solution, and it looks like the instructor said V1 is equal to 0. Is that wrong? And it'll repeat the point from above, I think, saying that it's many thousand times smaller than V2. It is literally 0, yeah, but it's so small, yeah, yeah. Here's why that's usually okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. Fine. One term is smaller by a factor, yeah, that makes its contribution, yeah. Totally lost in the run. Yeah, that's great. Most of the solutions drop it then, yeah. Thank you. So I think that's probably everything I want to do. I mean, and I can work out the answer, but not necessary. I think. So I think I'll call this to an end here. It's already more than 30 minutes I was in for. So I went probably a little too slowly in the other questions. So thank you so much to everyone joining by recording the video and those who are here in real time. Let me say goodbye to people joining by recording the video, by which I'm gonna stop the recording and I'll stay online briefly in case the people who are here in real time had the questions, and